Well, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. Whatever time of the day it is that you're listening to this program, welcome to Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff. And folks, we're two preseason games in now as the Eagles got another, exhilarating, if you want to use that word for a preseason game. Coming from behind victory, led by Mr. McKee. Do we have a quarterback controversy for the number 2 spot in Philadelphia? I think we do. You guys know how high I've been on McKee since we saw him play last year. And so we'll talk about that for sure. Welcome all and any listeners that are out there. Appreciate you tuning in. I know that I had a long hiatus. Came back earlier this week with a program, and like I said, we're going to knock out a couple shows a week going forward here as we begin our migration and transition over to YouTube, which the latest on that is we are in the testing phase, just kind of going through some mock shows and making sure that everything is tested and iron kinks are out and all that kind of thing. But don't be surprised if the first show on YouTube doesn't go 100% smoothly. I don't expect it to, but you want to make sure that you're tuning in for it. And so make sure to subscribe to the Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff YouTube channel. Brand new, brand spanking new. These last, 20 or so episodes have all been transferred over in terms of the podcast to that YouTube channel. But the first show, YouTube show, is going to debut probably next week. I can almost confirm and put a date on it now. So I've been telling you we're getting close, and I know you've been waiting patiently. But now we are really legitimately close. There's just a lot of stuff that I had to work through in order to get this thing going. So, so make sure, if you haven't done so already, that you subscribe to Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff. Same exact name, wording, and everything that you're seeing it on this podcast. Just make sure you spell Geoff, like I like to say, the correct way, Geoff. So Philadelphia Eagles Talk, W/Geoff. Okay? And make sure you get on there so you don't miss any of the programs going forward. And the most important thing, the reason why I'm letting you guys know, is that you will be able to engage with me. And that's the important thing, because I've always wanted to hear directly from you, be able to respond to you as the audience, answer questions, have some debates, have some discussion about the Eagles, a team that we all love. So that's what that's all about. So we're finally at the cusp of that all happening. So now let's get into the game against the Patriots. Again, you can't get too crazy about anything really in the preseason. You just can't. I watched the game. Very boring game. Very vanilla. But I expect it. I don't have huge expectations when I'm watching preseason games. What I want to see is guys that are fighting for positions and how they're doing. And I like to see some of the backup and depth that we have, or any just, guys we want to hold on to for the future. And so that's really what I'm looking for. And I'm also looking for execution, because whether it's even, the second or third string guys, you still want to see the offensive defense at least executing the plays. They may not be able to, finish them because of maybe a talent deficiency, but you want to just see, how they're executing. So I think overall the Eagles defense has been playing pretty well. Offensively, it's been very hit or miss, and probably more misses than hits so far through 2 games. But I know that, Kellen Moore is being intentionally vanilla. They're not going to show a lot, especially with Sirianni as head coach. He doesn't like to show anything, even talk about it during the regular season. So he's going to get just even beyond vanilla in the preseason. But there's a few things that I wanted to point out in regards to the game, and hopefully, because I wrote all this chicken scratch notes down while I was watching it, so hopefully I'll be able to interpret what I said at the time. So Smith, the first round draft pick, what did we take him, 30th or 32nd overall? he made a really stupid, I think it was in the first quarter. It was definitely in the first half. A dumb roughing the passer call. Um, just a stupid play. Not only did he hit the quarterback high with his hands in the face, then he leans his helmet in and makes helmet to helmet contact with the quarterback. I mean, that's just beyond stupid. I can almost see, you know, uh, guys who maybe shove the quarterback late and can almost let him, those are always ticky tack. This was not a ticky tack call. It was Derek Barnett ish. Okay. So for those of you Barnett haters out there, you got to be consistent. And I would hope that you're calling out Smith for that stupid penalty, because I know it's only preseason, but this is when you want those things, I guess, to happen so that he doesn't do it in a regular season. And hopefully, Smith is going to do that. Now, Smith, what you do like about him is his aggression as a finisher. So far, he hasn't shown that he really can get to the quarterback much. But I have to say, when he does get to the quarterback, he finishes the sack. And he had a sack later in the game after the roughing the passer call, where he just pulverized the quarterback. And, you like to see guys who finish. And he's able to do that. It's just getting to the quarterback has been his issue. So, but I guess I would say this, that Smith has shown progress. Has he taken a giant step? No, I'm not suggesting that at all. But he has shown progress. And that's what you'd least like to see. He's going to get a lot more playing time this year because they are, he's one of the guys they're going to depend on. Let's face it. It's time for him to rise or shine, man. And, we hope that he shines. I don't know if I want to jump to the quarterbacks yet. So let's go to a couple of the other guys. So Ross, the wide receiver that they brought in, the former first-round draft pick of Cincinnati, he's been bouncing around the league a little bit, retired, and the Eagles, brought him back. And you like his speed. He blew by in the first quarter, I believe this was. Just totally smoked his guy early, and Pickett, who we'll talk more about later, overthrew him by about 8 yards. Had his guy beat, would have been an easy touchdown. Deep throw. I mean, a deep play. Maybe not a deep throw, but a deep play. Smoked his guy, was wide open to just lay it in there and overthrow him. Just way overthrow him. But it was good to see him just beat the guy. And the guy that he beat, by the way, was their first-round draft pick of the – oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the Ravens. It wasn't the Ravens. It was the Patriots. So I'm not sure. I don't think it was Christian Gonzalez that he smoked. I don't think so. So don't quote me on that. But whoever it was that was on there. And the Patriots did play their starters to start the game. So Pickett did face the starters. Again, we're going to talk about more about him later. But and the fact that Ross was able to just absolutely smoke him was a good sign. Now, it would have been nice if, Pickett was able to lay the ball in there so we could see if he'd catch it and then take off with it. But didn't happen. But he had some plays later in the game. I thought Ross, looked pretty good. I'm kind of cheering for this guy. The wide receiver 3 spot on this team is wide open. It just is. So, and I'm not even sure if that wide receiver 3 slot is going to be a player that is on this roster right now. I wonder how he was going to make a move to bring a guy in here after the cut downs, to 53. Because I don't think anybody has really stood out here for the number 3 spot. So my thoughts there. Kelly Ringo, thought he played pretty well. He was beat deep, but the guy dropped the ball. Speaking of dropping a pass, and he wasn't like smoke deep, not like the Ross play where he had his guy torched. But he was beaten on the play, and you got a step on Ringo. Again, I don't want to act like he was smoked downfield. He was beaten though. Clearly was beaten. And, it resulted in the guy dropping the ball, unfortunately for him. But overall, after that, he played pretty well, I think, coverage-wise. He's been impressive. Everyone's been talking very highly of Ringo. It looks like he's got the inside straight on being the CB2 opposite of Slay. We'll see, but it looks like Ringo may be the starting second corner in this team. Let me think. Now, here's the guy that I've been waiting. As you guys know from the beginning, the ones who've been with me, when they first drafted Nakobe Dean, I was saying, hey, within 3 years, this guy's going to be the defensive captain of this team. Now, this is year 3. He's nowhere near being that. One of the few times yours truly has been wrong about his predictions, but totally been wrong about Nakobe Dean so far. Haven't given up on him. Never said that he was a bust or labeled him a bust. I did say that it wasn't looking good, and it was mostly because he just couldn't stay healthy. And here's a guy that during his high school and college career basically said that he rarely ever got injured. And through his first 2 years as an NFL player, as a professional, he has been nicked up and out and missing games upon games upon games. So this is the first camp where he has been, quote unquote, healthy, fully recovered from his plantar fasciitis from last year, which is a very tough injury to recover from. You know, it is a very difficult injury when you play a sport that relies on agility and footwork and cutting and accelerating quickly and all that. If you have that injury, you're toast. You have to wait for that thing to fully heal, and it's a long injury to heal. It doesn't heal quickly. All that said, we're starting to see signs of Nakobe Dean becoming a potential starting linebacker in this team. He's been, and on that field the other night, he was the best linebacker out there for the Eagles. I didn't really pay much attention to the Patriots. Maybe they had some guys that were playing better, but for the Eagles, Nakobe Dean was all over the field. And I pointed at one play that you may have recall if you watched the game where he was on a blitz. He was picked up. He was fighting with the guy. I think it was a fullback who picked him up, either that or a guard. I can't remember, but he was definitely. It's like he didn't get fully through on a blitz, but he got close enough to force the quarterback to throw out to a quick out play. And I think it was Bradbury who missed a tackle. I think it was Bradbury. Don't quote me on it, but so whoever was covering that out flanker missed the initial tackle, started going upfield, and you know who made the tackle to bring him down? Nakobe Dean, the same guy who put the pressure on the quarterback that forced the play to the outside anyway. So big time hustle and effort and ability, quickness to be that guy. So that showed me a lot, and that really made me smile a little bit, to be honest with you, because we've been waiting for Nakobe Dean to be Nakobe Dean. Now he's undersized, and I don't think he's never going to be able to, do something about his body. He's not going to get taller, but he's starting to show signs. You don't need to have a huge linebacker. Sam Mills was a short linebacker. He was he's in the Hall of Fame. So I'm not trying to say that Nakobe Dean is Sam Mills, but I'm just saying that finally we've seen some really good things from Nakobe Dean. And I think he's now pushing Zach Bond, who has been basically getting most of the snaps with the first team. I think that Nakobe Dean is making a run. We'll see what happens. But, nevertheless, finally seen some really good things from Nakobe Dean. While we're talking linebacker, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I don't think had a good game. And I haven't seen many of the press since, in the post games and whatnot, really calling him out much. Couple mentioned that he missed a tackle. They said he missed one tackle. I saw him miss at least 2 tackles when he was in there. I didn't think he had a strong game. I watched him quite a bit. Made sure, he snaps that I was watching him. I'm not saying he played horrible, but one guy put a serious move on him and totally left him in the dust. And listen, the guy's a rookie. I'm not criticizing him, but I'm just trying to be, I'm going to call it both ways, right? If he plays great, I'm going to tell you he plays great. If he doesn't play great, I'm going to call it out. So, I mean, that's one thing you get out of this program. I'm not here to, with pom poms. And I love Trotter. I mean, who doesn't love Trotter? Who's not rooting for this kid, the son of the legendary Jeremiah Trotter? And he's been way better than he's not. So, but he missed a couple tackles in the last preseason game. So, um, and one of them was a missed tackle for a loss. He had a guy in the backfield and missed the tackle. So, he'll learn from it. I have no doubt. Like I said, I love the guy. I'm not here to bash him at all, but I don't think it was a strong game from Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Shipley, I tell you what, I was not happy. If you guys remember my post-draft episode, wasn't too thrilled about them drafting Shipley. I thought there was other guys that were on the board that were better than him. But I have to say, and I haven't seen, he's been pretty good as a runner too. I think he's far more physical. You see this guy at like his interviews, his press conferences, and he just seems like he's like your average Joe that you run into at the grocery store. I mean, he doesn't look intimidating. He doesn't even look like a football player, really. I guess that's what my point is. But I tell you, he plays way more physical than I would expect. He's a physical runner, and I haven't seen him drop a pass. He's got great hands. And, he's going to be a nice change of pace running back on this team. He's a smart player, too. He's got good hands. I love his physicality, which really surprised me more than anything else. He hasn't been, he's not blowing up the field running the ball, but I don't know. I think he's a good player. I definitely like what I've seen from him so far. So, run after the catch is very impressive from Shipley. Let's see. What else I want to talk about here? Before I get into the quarterbacks, I'm definitely going to hit on those for sure. J.Alex Hunt, I didn't see much of him in the game. I was like kind of looking for him. I don't know how much he played. It didn't seem like he played that much. When I did see him out there, awareness was his issue, and that's going to be his issue. And it clearly came off in this game. I saw a couple plays where he just, was just caught way off guard or over pursued or just whatever the play was directed at him. He just really kind of had no idea what he was doing out there. He's a young player, the young player that played at a very tiny, small school. So he's a project. You love his ability. On the quarterback touchdown run, he was smoked. And that's the one I was talking about, no awareness. He had outside contain as the left defensive end, and he totally just rushed inside, leaving the whole lane for the quarterback to just run the ball in the end zone. So that that play was on him, if you ask me. So, but again, this kid's super young. He's going to learn, hopefully, because if he develops, this guy's got some pretty serious athletic ability. Nada, he's got good hands. This guy, Nada, I don't know if I can't remember if he's a tight end or a wide receiver, whatever position he is. I know he's one or the other. I probably should know that. But he doesn't play much. But every time I've seen this guy get the ball thrown at him, he catches the ball. So I just had him down as a positive. Now we'll get to the quarterbacks. And some of this other gibberish that I wrote down, I'm like looking at it, I'm like, what the hell am I saying here? And that part of the problem was the pen that I was using was running out of ink. So I don't think I have any idea what the heck I wrote down here. I can't read that. Before I get into the quarterbacks, one last note. Thomas Booker, I had to look this guy up because I'm like, who the hell is this 59 guy? He was in later in the game. I didn't even see him much during the game. I didn't rewatch it twice, so I'm not sure when he came into the game. All I can say is that the last couple of drives, this guy was pushing back. And again, I know he's not, going against starters, but he was owning whoever was trying to block him on every down, pushing him 5-6 yards back into the quarterback's face. I'm like, who is this guy? Just came off the screen to me. And I had to look him up because I'm like, who the hell's number 59? I mean, first of all, 59 should be retired, if you ask me. So nobody should be wearing number 59 unless you're a freaking stud player. But I don't know why the Eagles haven't retired 59. I mean, Seth Joyner should be in the rafters, if you ask me. Anyway, Thomas Booker, I had to look up, was the young defensive tackle that they picked up from the Broncos, maybe? Don't quote me on that. I didn't write it down. But it was like one of these most recent acquisitions in the last few weeks. Kind of went under the radar. Like, I don't know. I know when I saw it, I'm like, who the hell is Thomas Booker? But this guy, freaking beast mode. So I'm going to watch him even closer in the last preseason game. But man, if nothing else, if he doesn't make the team, I'm hoping they keep him on the practice squad because that guy was just blowing up whoever was trying to block him on the Patriots. This last bit of chicken scratch on my notes, I can't make out. I just can't. Can't make it out, so I'm not going to be able to talk about it. It was important enough for me to mark it down, but it looks like okay. Here's what it is. Sorry, now I figured it out. So the rookie wide receiver there that they drafted, Emil. God, this just always kills me with these younger guys that I don't, these top end guys or the guys that are 3-4 deep in the on the roster depth chart. It's hard for me to remember everybody. Heck, sometimes I can't even remember who the starters are. Let me see if I could. Nah, I'm not even gonna bother. It's just gonna waste too much time. Anyway, the rookie wide receiver Emil. Damn it, I need to get it. Sorry. I hate butchering names. Give me a moment. Especially since he was an Eagles draft pick, I probably should get his name right. He's probably gonna make the team too, so I really need to learn his name. What the hell's his name here? Give me a moment here. Campbell. Sorry, I could always push pause, but I won't. You guys just hang with me here for a minute. Appreciate it. Because I think it's important enough to recognize his name. Yeah, Nana, by the way, is a wide receiver. Aeneas Smith. There we go. There's 3 Smiths on this team, but there's 4 Smiths on this team now. You have Aeneas Smith, Brandon Smith, who's a linebacker, of course, DeVonta Smith, and Nolan Smith. Anyway, Aeneas Smith had a nice 2-point conversion. Great play call, and McKee found him on the right side of the end zone in the corner for to convert the 2-point conversion, which gave the Eagles the 1-point victory. So it was nice to see him make a play because, the reports through camp is that he has not been having a good camp at all. So nice to see that kid, come with a big play there. All right, let's get to the nitty gritty. The quarterback 2 controversy between Kenny Pickett and McKee. You guys know I love McKee. I loved his poise last year. Now, he hasn't played in any regular games, but he played a lot last year in the preseason, and every single time I saw him in there, he was as deadly accurate as I've ever seen any quarterback. Now, again, I'm not going to go crazy. The guy's not playing starters, but he is still showing you quite a bit of ability. Accuracy, poise, those are 2 great things to have as a quarterback to start. I love his size, his tall quarterback. And he doesn't seem to be rattled. Like the stage doesn't seem big for him, which is another big, huge, attribute that you want at the quarterback position. And he is not. It's not like it was a fluke last year because he's doing it again this year. And you found out that Sirianni, because he did put Will Grier in for the third quarter or start the fourth quarter, whatever it was. And they asked Sirianni after the game, why did McKee come back in? And Sirianni wanted to see him in a 2-minute offense. And so good for him, because that is what you want to see. If you're going to, especially if the Eagles are thinking about making this guy to number 2, you want to put him in that position. So to me, because Sirianni after the game is like denying that there's a controversy at the number 2 spot, he's saying that Kenny Pickett's number 2. And he probably is. But I do think the Eagles are going to be trying to shop him before the season starts, because I think ideally they'd love to get the trade Pickett and anoint McKee the number 2. I do think that's what the Eagles want to do, but they want to get something for Pickett. That's my thought. And so if they bounce Pickett down to the 3, then the league is not going to give the Eagles anything for him. So I think he'll be the number 2, but really I think McKee is the number 2. Meaning that if, knock on wood, something does happen to Hurts during the season where he misses extensive game action, I think they wouldn't hesitate a minute to get McKee in there. It's, especially and assuming that Kenny Pickett's struggling. How can you not see what this guy's doing? We all see it. You can't tell me the Eagles don't see it. So I think it's more of a cosmetic Kenny Pickett being the number 2, when really I think McKee is going to be number 2. It's just my thoughts, just my opinion, just from what I see. Pickett didn't look good. All right. On the other hand, now he's playing against the starters, so let's keep that in mind. I think it's definitely important to put that in consideration. Unlike McKee, Kenny Pickett was playing against the starting defense. Patriots played their starters to start the game. So he was under a lot of pressure. The Eagles' offensive line depth does not look that good. Now, again, they were playing the starters, and these are all backups that the Eagles had in there, but they didn't look good because Pickett didn't have a lot of time. But when he did have time, he didn't look good. He just overthrowing guys. I mentioned the Ross overthrow. He had time on that play. Totally overthrew him. He seems to be, have happy feet where he just – now, again, he didn't have good protection, so there's a reason why he was running. But he ran a lot. He just seemed to be running out of the pocket a lot. And then he didn't really, keep his eyes downfield. Or nobody was open. I don't want to, say that Kenny Pickett sucked. I'm not going to say that because he had a bad offensive line. He was playing with all the backups, and they had their starters in. You have to factor that in. But he still didn't look good. And I want to see McKee playing against some starters. That's what I want to see. McKee, again, deadly accurate when he was in there. Executed the come from behind victory. Showed the poise. Just deadly accurate. I think he only had 3 incompletions, and one of them was a drop. I think it was by Ross. Just right in the hands. Just dropped it. So I think McKee should be our number 2. I said I was high on him from last year. I think the Eagles might have got a nice little gem there as a backup quarterback. I think he has the ability to start in this league. So it'll be interesting. I know the Eagles have him under contract for a couple of years, but I really think they should be shopping Pickett, see if there's any takers out there, or those, have him be shopping him during the season as the Eagles' number 2 quarterback. Be willing to trade him, and then have McKee be the number 2. I don't think it doesn't seem, unless the Eagles are completely just trying to pull wool over our eyes. I don't foresee them, without trading Pickett, demoting him out of the number 2 spot. So, but I do think, from a technical standpoint, like behind the scenes, I think the Eagles know that McKee is the number 2. That's just how I'm kind of reading things. All right. What else we got? Got anything else? I know that guy. I think his name is Mitchell. Is it Mitchell? You look again. I can't wait for these for the roster to be cut down to 53 because then I won't be butchering the crap and forgetting all these people's names. It's just so many players in camp right now. It's hard to just keep track of them all. I think his last name is Mitchell. Is it Mitchell? It is Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell. Oh, no, that's the cornerback. What am I doing? What am I doing? By the way, speaking of him, I know he's got a lot on his plate because he's not only learning cornerback, but also nickel corner and even safety. They've thrown him in that. He's, I don't want to say he hasn't impressed me yet, but he hasn't impressed me yet. But I'm not trying to bury the kid. But, I saw the Ravens first round pick absolutely dominate the Eagles in the first preseason game. We haven't seen any performance like that out of Quinyon Mitchell yet. Now, that guy's only concentrating, and he's only been practicing his cornerback, where Mitchell, they've had 3 different positions. So you got to take that into account. What the heck is the guy's name? I can't even find it, so it doesn't start. Oh, maybe it's not him. I thought his last name was Mitchell, or it started with M, but all these names that I'm looking at, um, don't don't say Mitchell. So I don't know what the heck I'm trying to even think of. I'm kind of scrolling through here, and still don't see him. So I don't even know who the heck the guy is. But there was a wide receiver. I think he was wearing number 82. If I remember right. Let me see what number 82 is on here. Oh, no, that's Aeneas Smith, so it wasn't him. 84, maybe? All right, well, anyway. I can't find one. I don't know why he's not listed on the Eagles depth chart here. The guy I'm trying to think of. He got hurt in the game. So it's that wide receiver that's playing really well and got hurt. Jenkins. There he is. I don't know how I got Mitchell out of Jenkins. E.J. Jenkins. That was the guy that played pretty well. He's a tight end. Big guy, 6'6", 245. Good hands. Good hands. So, liked what I saw out of him. Somebody else I want to go over. I liked what I saw of Milton, by the way. Kendall Milton, the running back. Big guy. Runs powerful out of Georgia. Be interesting to see what the Eagles do at running back. You got Barkley, of course, Gainwell. Those 2 guys, are making a team. Shipley has done nothing to not think he's not going to make the team. And this Milton guy, though, if they end up keeping 4 running backs, you'd hope that he's the 4th. I don't know if the Eagles are going to keep 4 running backs, though. That's the thing. But that guy, you'd love to have him in there in those short yardage situations, just to bust the ball over. Of course, the Eagles love to do the tush push, so I guess that's why he's probably not going to make the roster, but I liked what I've seen from him. Anyone else I want to point out here? Avonte Maddox with a big interception. By the way, Avonte Maddox looks like he put on some serious weight. Like, he just looks to me that he's much bigger than he has been in the past. Like, he put on some bulk. I don't know if you guys had that same feeling, but by the way, on his run back, I know it's only preseason, which is probably what he was always what he was thinking about as well. Especially with his injuries that he's accumulated over the his career, but he could have easily cut back and kept going. He could have returned that thing if his endurance held up. I don't know, maybe he could have been out of breath. But there was a cutback lane there. If you watch that play again, where he could have cut back inside instead of running out of bounds and gone another 25 yards at least before maybe being chased down by somebody. Or if he didn't get chased down, he was gone. But it looked like he was running out of steam. But anyway, either way, great play by Maddox there with the pick in the end zone. Anybody else kind of pop at me? I'm trying to think. That's probably about it. I think I covered most of it anyway. It'd be interesting to see what the Eagles do with the 3rd preseason game, the final tune-up before the regular season starts. Again, you guys know how I feel. I want the Eagles to play their freaking starters for at least a quarter. I mean, to me, they got to play. But Sirianni just seems to never want to play the starters. So, I don't know. Go figure. Well, this could very well be the last podcast that is strictly just audio. So I'm going to leave you stating one more time that Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff debuts on YouTube, hopefully as soon as next week. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Philadelphia Eagles Talk W/Geoff on YouTube. Subscribe now so you're there not only from the beginning for the first one. You probably see a bunch of screw-ups and video issues. I don't know. Hopefully it goes smoothly. But that's right around the corner. Thank you again for tuning in to Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff. Till next time, as you know, we fly, Eagles fly, and go Birds. We'll catch you next time. See ya.